welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling, well, one of the big ones. A really intense, chilling story from Shakespeare, the tragedy of Macbeth.
That's right. We've got the source text right here, and our mission really is to be your guides. We want to cut through some of that dense language and give you a quick but really thorough grasp of Macbeth's whole psychological journey.
Exactly. Not just a plot summary. We're going deep into the characters, how they change so terrifyingly fast, and making sure you see why the big moments matter.
And we're planning to nail down, the single most crucial event in each of the 5 acts, the real turning points. Our goal is for you to see exactly how this heroic general Macbeth gets twisted by ambition, by the supernatural, and becomes, well, the dead butcher he's called at the end.
It's a dark path for sure, but fascinating. So let's jump right in. Act 1, setting the stage and meeting the key players.
Okay, Act 1. Shakespeare wastes absolutely no time. Scene I doesn't start in a castle or a court. Nope. It's thunder, lightning, and the 3 witches. The weird sisters.
Straight into the chaos.
Right. And that line, fair is foul and foul is fair, it just hangs there. It tells you immediately the usual rules, the normal moral compass. It's gone.
Yeah.
Out the window. That's the atmosphere for the whole play.
And then the action shifts to a military camp near Forez in Scene 7. And that's where we meet the human side of the story, amidst all the battlefield gore.
We meet King Duncan. And he comes across as, well, lovely, gracious, generous, maybe a bit too trusting for his own good.
You think, especially when he talks about the last Thane of Cawdor, the traitor. He says he built an absolute trust on him. Oof.
Yeah, the dramatic irony is thick right from the start.
Yeah.
His best quality, his faith in people, is actually his biggest weakness, politically speaking.
And then there's the man himself, Macbeth. How's he introduced?
Pure warrior, pure, almost savage glory. The leading captain gives this incredible description, calls him Brave Macbeth. And that famous line about how he dealt with the rebel MacDonald.
Oh, yeah. Unseamed him from the nave to the chops.
Exactly. And fixed his head upon our battlements. It's brutal. It shows incredible courage, but also, wow, a terrifying capacity for violence.
He's not alone, though. He's fighting with Banquo.
Right, his fellow general. They're described as this power duo fighting with doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. But even here, you maybe see a tiny difference. Macbeth's the fury. Banquo seems a little more cautious, loyal, definitely, but maybe holds back just a bit.
A caution that becomes pretty important very soon.
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us to what I think is the key event for Act 1. Scene 3, the witches' prophecies, and that fatal confirmation that follows.
Okay, so they're crossing this bleak heath.
And the witches just appear. And notice how they greet him. It's not just random fortune-telling. It's specific. It escalates.
Thane of Glamis, which he already is.
Right. Then Thane of Cawdor.
And then the big one, the bomb drop, King Hereafter.
That's the hook. That's the one that sinks deep. And Banquo, he gets those weird, riddling prophecies.
Yeah, lesser than Macbeth and greater. Not so happy, yet much happier. What does that even mean at this point?
Exactly. And thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. It's all paradoxes. And Banquo, true to form, is immediately skeptical. He asks if they're real or just hallucinations, the insane route. He senses the danger.
But Macbeth is already hooked, and then almost before they can process it.
That's witches vanish.
Ooh.
Poof. And Ross and Angus ride up straight from the king, and they deliver the news. The old Thane of Cawdor, executed for treason.
And Duncan has named Macbeth the new Thane of Cawdor.
He bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, for it is thine. It's instant. It's undeniable proof. One prophecy down right away.
And that is the critical moment of Act 1.
Absolutely. Macbeth himself says it. 2 truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. The supernatural planted the idea, and politics just handed him proof on a silver platter.
And his mind just leaps ahead, doesn't it, to the imperial theme, the crown.
Immediately. That first aside, that soliloquy, it's chilling. He admits the thought of murder, regicide, that horrid image, makes his heart pound like crazy. The ambition was maybe simmering, but the witches just threw gasoline on it.
But there's an immediate roadblock. Duncan isn't dead yet. In fact, in Scene the 4th, he does something very kingly.
Yeah, he tries to establish order. He names his eldest son, Malcolm, the Prince of Cumberland, heir to the throne.
Which, for Macbeth, is What?
A huge obstacle. A step he now has to overcome. He sees it instantly. That is a step on which I must fall down or leap, for in my way it lies.
It forces his ambition out into the open, at least for the audience. He talks about his black and deep
It
desires.
asks for darkness to hide them. The conflict is fully internal now, and that internal conflict gets externalized incredibly fast when we meet his wife.
Ah, yes. Lady Macbeth, scene of fifth. She gets a letter from him about the prophecies.
And her reaction, it's electrifying. Zero doubt about the prophecy becoming true. Her only fear is Macbeth himself,
She thinks he's too nice.
basically. She says his nature is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. She pegs him immediately. He wants the glory, but he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He's ambitious but squeamish about the ruthless action required.
Which leads to her famous, terrifying speech.
Oh, the unsex me here soliloquy. It's astonishing. She's not just asking for strength, she's asking spirits to strip away her femininity, her compassion, fill her top full of direst cruelty.
She wants them to stop up her remorse, physically block any feelings of regret.
It's an immediate, almost gleeful embrace of evil for the sake of power. It's really quite shocking.
And then Macbeth arrives at their castle, Inverness. Duncan is coming to stay the night, and Macbeth starts having second thoughts.
Right, in scene the seventh, he pulls back, he thinks about loyalty, his reputation,
Yeah.
Duncan being his guest and kinsman. He says, "We will proceed no further in this business."
But Lady Macbeth is having none of it.
Absolutely not. This is her moment. She goes straight for the jugular, questions his manhood, his courage. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire?
Essentially calling him a coward who wants things but won't act.
Exactly. And then she uses that horrifying image about dashing the brains out of her own nursing baby if she'd sworn to do it.
It's so brutal, designed to just break his resistance.
It works. It completely shames him into agreeing. She lays out the plan.
Get the king's guards, his chamberlains, drunk, so drunk their memory is just a fume.
Use their daggers to kill Duncan while he sleeps.
Smear the blood all over the sleeping guards. Frame them completely.
And Macbeth. He's convinced. He admires the undaunted mettle of the plan. He says, "I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Act Ryans with the decision made. The path is chosen."
Okay, Act 2. The tension is almost unbearable now. It starts with Banquo, right?
Yeah, Bengal can't sleep. He tells his son, Flans, he's been dreaming of the weird sisters. It shows those prophecies are still working on everyone, festering
But Macbeth, he's way beyond just dreaming now.
way beyond, which leads to the key event of Act 2, the murder itself, and the immediate psychological shattering that follows.
Yeah.
Even before he does it, his mind is cracking.
The dagger speech. Scene 1.
The air-drawn dagger.
That-
Is it real? No. He calls it a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain. It's a hallucination born of guilt and intent.
But then it gets worse, doesn't it?
Yeah. As he stares at it, he sees gouts of blood appear on the blade, which was not so before. His mind is already painting the violence onto his vision. The line between thought and deed is blurring.
The actual murder happens offstage, which somehow makes it worse when he comes back.
It really does. When he returns in scene 2, he's completely undone. Totally paralyzed by what he's done. He heard noises, couldn't say amen when the drugged guards muttered prayers.
But the worst part is the voice he heard.
Sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep.
That's it. That's the core of his immediate torment. He understands instantly that he hasn't just killed a king. He's killed his own peace, his own rest, forever. Sleep. The innocent sleep. The healer. Gone.
That's the price, paid immediately.
And Lady Macbeth, she comes in and she's all practical. Steel nerves, or so it seems.
Though she admits she couldn't have killed Duncan herself because he looked like her father sleeping, a little crack in the facade.
Perhaps. But when she sees Macbeth, frozen, still holding the bloody daggers, ruining the plan, she snaps into action, calls him infirm of purpose.
She takes the daggers back herself.
Yes, to smear the blood on the guard. She's trying desperately to control the situation, even as, the horror must be hitting her too.
And she says that chilling line.
Yeah.
A little water clears us of this deed.
Such a stark contrast to Macbeth's reaction. She thinks washing her hands physically will wash away the guilt. It's denial, pure and simple.
Whereas Macbeth knows. He knows it's impossible. He looks at his hands and says, not even all great Neptune's ocean could wash them clean. Instead, his hand would turn the entire ocean red. He understands the scale, the permanence of the stain. She's focused on the practical cover-up. He's already drowning in the existential horror.
Then comes the discovery. Scene 3. But first, that weird bit of comedy.
The Porter scene.
Yeah.
Yes, it's essential, not just silly. He's drunk, pretending to be the gatekeeper of hell.
Letting in sinners.
Right. A farmer who hoarded grain, a tailor who cheated customers, and significantly, an equivocator, someone who twists words, tells half-truths,
Sound familiar?
like the witches.
Exactly. It's dark humor, a brief, strange pause before the awful reality breaks through. Kind of lowers the tension just to slam it back up again.
And the reality crashes in with Macduff, the Thane of Fife. He's arrived to wake the king.
And finds the body. Oh, horror, horror, horror! The alarm bells ring. Chaos erupts.
Macbeth and Lady Macbeth have to play their parts now,
Yeah.
put on a show. And Macbeth maybe overplays it. When Macduff asks why he killed the Chamberlains, Macbeth launches into this speech about his violent love for Duncan, how seeing the dead king and the bloody guards just drove him into a furious rage.
It sounds a bit rehearsed. Too passionate.
It raises suspicion, certainly. And maybe that's why Lady Macbeth chooses that moment to faint. Help me hence, ho.
Is it real? Or a distraction?
Who knows for sure? Could be genuine overwhelm, could be a calculated move to pull focus from Macbeth's dodgy explanation. Either way, it creates more confusion.
And amidst all this chaos, Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, make a crucial decision.
They realize they're probably next. As Malcolm says, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near blood, the nearer bloody. The killer is likely someone close.
So they flee. Malcolm to England, Donalbain to Ireland.
A smart move for survival, but politically. It looked terrible. It makes them look guilty.
Which we see confirmed in the next scene, scene the 4th. There's talk of unnatural things happening.
Yes, the unnatural omens. Ross and an old man discuss how the sky went dark during the day. A small owl killed a mighty falcon.
And Duncan's horses went wild and ate each other.
Yeah. The natural order is broken, reflecting the unnatural act of killing the king. Nature itself is revolted.
And Macduff delivers the political news because the sons fled.
They're the prime suspects, which means the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. He's off to Scone, the traditional place, to be crowned.
The usurpation is complete, but Macduff makes a telling choice.
He refuses to go to Scone. He's heading home to Fife. It's a silent, but very clear signal. He doesn't trust this new king, not one bit.
Okay, Act 3. Macbeth has the crown. Is he happy? Relaxed.
Not even close. He's king, but Banquo opens the act, voicing exactly what Macbeth fears everyone is thinking. Thou hast it now, king, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promised.
What?
And I fear thou playedest most foully for it, Banquo suspects. And worse, Banquo remembers his prophecy.
That he himself wouldn't be king, but his descendants would. Thou shalt get kings.
And that becomes Macbeth's obsession. He says his fears in Banquo stick deep. He realizes he wears a fruitless crown, holds a barren scepter. Why?
Because he has no heirs himself.
Right. And he'd basically gone through hell, damned his own soul, murdered Duncan, only to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. The bitterness, the paranoia, it's overwhelming.
So Banquo has to go.
He becomes the next target, which leads us to the key event of Act 3, the murder of Banquo, and then the appearance of his ghost.
Macbeth arranges this one differently, doesn't he? He doesn't do it himself.
No, he's graduated to hiring assassins. He finds these two, later a third joins them, disgruntled men, and manipulates them, blaming Banquo for all their problems. Tells them Banquo kept them so under fortune.
And he wants Fleance, Banquo's son, killed too.
Yeah.
To stop the prophecy line dead.
Fleance's son must embrace the fate of that dark hour. He's to wipe out the entire threat.
But the plan goes wrong. Scene the 3rd.
Horribly wrong. They ambush Banquo and Fleance as they're returning.
Yeah.
Banquo is killed shouting for Fleance to run and get revenge, but
Fleance escape.
Fleance gets away in the darkness. The murderers know it. We have lost best half of our affair.
And this news reaches Macbeth at the worst possible time.
The absolute worst. Scene the 4th. He and Lady Macbeth are hosting this huge state banquet, trying to look regal, establish normalcy, project power.
And one of the murderers comes to the door.
With Banquo's blood still on his face, tells Macbeth the job is half done. Banquo is dead, safe in a ditch, but Fleance escaped.
How does Macbeth react?
He's thrown back into turmoil. Then comes my fit again. The relief is instantly replaced by dread. The threat isn't gone.
He says the snake is only scorched, not killed.
Exactly. Fleance, the worm that's fled, will grow venomous eventually. The fear is just postponed, not eliminated.
And he goes back to the feast, tries to play the host.
Tries to propose a toast, calls out Banquo for being absent, and that's when it happens.
The ghost.
Banquo's ghost appears, sits right in Macbeth's chair. And only Macbeth can see it. It's a pure manifestation of his guilt.
And he just loses it.
publicly.
Completely unravels. Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me. He's yelling at an empty chair, as far as everyone else is concerned. The banquet descends into chaos.
Lady Macbeth tries to salvage it.
Oh, she tries desperately. Makes
Right.
excuses, says he's had these fits since childhood, calls it a momentary infirmity, tries whispering to him, "Are you a man?" Tries to shame him back to reality. Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear.
But it's no good.
The damage is done. She has to dismiss all the guests, tells them to leave immediately, don't even bother standing on ceremony. The admired disorder is total.
What's the psychological impact on Macbeth after this?
It's a turning point. He realizes there's no going back. He says that incredible line, "I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er."
The point of no return.
Exactly. His only path now is more violence, more darkness. And he decides his next step. Go back to the witches. Find out the worst, by the worst means.
Meanwhile, things are shifting politically. We get that strange scene with Hecate.
Scene v. Hecate, the sort of queen witch, choose out the other three for dealing with Macbeth without her. It feels a bit tacked on, maybe not even fully Shakespeare's, but it serves a purpose.
It is.
Hecate says she's going to create illusions that will make Macbeth feel overconfident, make him spurn fate, scorn death, because, as she says, security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
Ah, so they're setting him up for a fall by making him feel invincible.
Precisely. And scene the sixth shows that the political opposition is definitely hardening. Lennox and another lord are talking.
And they're not buying the official stories anymore.
Not at all. They're talking openly about Duncan's murder, Banquo's murder, Flance fleeing Malcolm and Donalbain in exile. And they're calling Macbeth the tyrant.
The word is out.
And they reveal Macduff has gone to England, to the court of King Edward the Confessor, who's described as pious,
Why has Macduff gone there?
to get help. Specifically, to ask King Edward to enlist Siward, the Earl of Northumberland, a famous English general, to raise an army and help them overthrow Macbeth. The resistance is organizing. War is coming.
Right, into Act 4, it opens back with the witches, doesn't it, in their cave.
Yes, brewing that disgusting hell broth. The ingredients list is just legendary in its grossness. Eye of newt and toe of frog, finger of birth-strangled babe, liver of blaspheming Jew. It's pure theatrical horror, setting the scene for Macbeth's second visit.
He comes demanding answers, more prophecies.
He does, and this encounter is the key event of Act 4. The witches give him these deceptive, ambiguous prophecies designed to create that false security Hecate talked about. And Macbeth's reaction leads to, well, arguably the most horrific act in the play.
Okay, so what are the prophecies this time? They come as apparitions.
Three main ones. First, an armed head, like a soldier's helmeted head. It warns him, beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife.
Okay, that seems clear enough. Confirms his existing fear.
It does. But then comes the second apparition, a bloody child. And it tells him something that sounds amazing. Be bloody, bold, and resolute, laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
None of women born. That sounds like everyone. He must feel invincible after hearing that.
He does. He thinks, then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But then his paranoia kicks back in immediately. But yet, I'll make assurance double sure and take a bond of fate. He decides he'll kill Macduff anyway, just to be absolutely safe. He's killing out of fear now, not strategy.
And the third apparition.
A child crowned, holding a tree. This one tells him he shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
A forest moving up a hill? That sounds impossible.
Exactly what Macbeth thinks. He's overjoyed. That will never be. He thinks he's basically guaranteed to die a natural death now. Safe.
But he pushes his luck. He demands one more thing.
He insists on knowing if Banquo's descendants will ever reign, and the witches reluctantly show him. A procession of 8 kings looking like Banquo's line, and the last one holds a mirror showing even more kings stretching out. And Banquo's ghost is there too, smiling, pointing at them as his.
So Banquo's prophecy is true? That must infuriate Macbeth?
It shatters his brief moment of security. His reign might be safe for him, but it leads nowhere for his own line, and his reaction is immediate and brutal.
He hears Macduff has fled to England.
And he makes an instant, terrible decision. No more thinking, just acting on impulse. The very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. He decides to raid Macduff's castle in Fife and murder everyone inside, his wife, his children, all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. It's pure spiteful vengeance against an enemy he can't reach directly, a shift from political killing to just slaughter.
Which we then see happen in scene 2. It's incredibly painful to read.
It is. We meet Lady Macduff and her young son. She feels abandoned, betrayed by Macduff fleeing, calls him a traitor. There's that heartbreaking line about how even the tiny wren will fight an owl to protect its young.
The conversation between her and the boy is so sharp, so real. He's clever, innocent.
Makes the ending even worse. The murderers arrive, call Macduff a traitor. The boy bravely defends his father. "Thou liest, thou shag-eared villain." And they stab him. He dies telling his mother to run. They pursue her off stage. It's the absolute moral low point, killing children.
Just devastating. Then the scene shifts dramatically. To England, scene a third.
Right. Macduff finds Malcolm at the English court. Macduff pleads with Malcolm to return to Scotland, describing the suffering under Macbeth. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry.
But Malcolm is cautious. He doesn't trust Macduff immediately.
No. He remembers his father trusted people too easily. He worries Macduff might be a spy sent by Macbeth to lure him back to his death, so he decides to test Macduff's loyalty.
How does he do that? It's a strange conversation.
It's a brilliant piece of psychological testing. Malcolm pretends to be far worse than Macbeth ever could be. He lists terrible vices he supposedly has. First, uncontrollable lust, voluptuousness.
Macduff's kind of brushes that off, says Scotland has plenty of women, it can be managed.
Right. So Malcolm ups the ante. He claims he suffers from staunchless avarice, greed so bad he'd steal from his own nobles.
Macduff says that's worse than a lust, but maybe still manageable.
So Malcolm goes for the kill. He claims he has absolutely none of the virtues needed to be a king: justice, truth, temperance, stability, mercy, courage, nothing. He says if he were king, he'd pour the sweet milk of Concord into hell, uproar the universal peace.
He paints himself as a monster, and how does Macduff react?
He breaks, completely despairs, not for himself, but for Scotland. "Oh, Scotland, Scotland, fit to govern, no, not to live." He cries out that his hope is dead. He cannot support such a ruler even to defeat Macbeth.
And that proves his loyalty.
Yes. That utter despair, putting Scotland's well-being above everything else, convinces Malcolm that Macduff is true. Malcolm immediately reveals he was lying, that he's none of those things. He's virtuous, a virgin even, and ready to fight.
And he has support.
Yes. He confirms old Seward is already marching with 10,000 English soldiers, thanks to King Edward. The invasion is ready.
But then, more bad news arrives.
The final blow of Act 4. Ross arrives from Scotland. He's hesitant, clearly dreading what he has to say.
He finally tells Macduff about his family.
Yes. After some painful evasion, he confirms the horrific truth. Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered.
Oh, Macduff's reaction.
It's shattering, utter disbelief, then waves of grief. He keeps asking, "All my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all." And that line, "he has no children," meaning Macbeth. Macbeth can't understand this loss, can't repay it in kind.
Malcolm tells him to use the grief.
"Be this the whetstone of your sword, let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it. Turn the pain into fuel for revenge."
And Macduff does. He vows to face Macbeth himself. "Bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length." The personal vendetta is now set alongside the political liberation.
Act 4 ends with the forces gathering and Macduff utterly focused on killing Macbeth. The end game is set.
Okay, Act V, the final act. Things start to unravel fast for the Macbeths now. What's the key event here?
For me, it has to be Lady Macbeth's complete breakdown and death. We see it first in that incredibly famous sleepwalking scene, scene 4.
Right, the doctor and the gentlewoman are watching her.
The gentlewoman reports she's been doing this for nights. Needs light by her constantly, she who once called on darkness. And she keeps rubbing her hands, trying to wash them.
Out, damned spot. Out, I say.
Exactly. The guilt she suppressed, the blood she thought a little water would clear, it's consuming her now. It's a spot she can't remove.
And she talks in her sleep, confesses everything.
Bits and pieces of the crimes come pouring out. Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? That's Duncan. Then the Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? Macduff's family. It's all there, haunting her.
And she ends with that line, "What's done cannot be undone," the terrible finality she refused to accept earlier.
The doctor is horrified. He recognizes it's not a physical illness. More needs she the divine than the physician. He understands it's a sickness of the soul. He even warns the gentlewoman to watch her, remove anything she could use to harm herself. Foreshadowing.
While she's falling apart, what's Macbeth doing?
He's holed up in Dunsinane Castle, clinging desperately to those prophecies. Scene 3 shows him boasting, full of false bravado. "Till Burnham wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear." What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman?
He still believes he's untouchable, even though his men are deserting him.
Yeah, he's lashing out, calling his servant a cream-faced loon. He knows things are bad. He gives that speech about his life falling into the sear, the yellow leaf, lacking honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, but he's still banking on the witch's words.
The doctor tells him about Lady Macbeth's condition.
Describes her mind being troubled by thick-coming fancies. Macbeth asks, almost pathetically, if the doctor can't just fix her. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
As if guilt is just something you can purge.
And the doctor's reply is stark. Therein the patient must minister to himself. There's no medical cure for a guilty conscience. Macbeth is utterly alone in this. He can't fix her, can't fix himself.
And then in scene V, the news comes.
A cry of women is heard off stage. Satan, his last loyal officer, goes to check. Returns. The queen, my lord, is dead.
How does Macbeth react to losing her? The partner in his crime, the driving force initially?
It triggers his most famous speech. The tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow soliloquy. It's bleak, utterly nihilistic.
He doesn't seem to grieve her so much as reflect on the pointlessness of everything.
Exactly. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's all become meaningless to him. A tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Yeah.
All the murder, the ambition, for this empty feeling.
And how does she die? The scene doesn't explicitly say, but...
Later, Malcolm confirms what the doctor feared. He refers to the fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought by self and violent hands, took off her life. Suicide. The weight of the guilt became unbearable.
Okay, the queen is dead. Macbeth is contemplating oblivion, but the battle is closing in.
And a prophecies start to crumble. Right after the queen's death, the second part of the key event unfolds. The fulfillment of the prophecies.
Birnam Wood.
In scene the fourth, Malcolm had ordered every soldier to cut down a branch and carry it in front of him to disguise their numbers.
Camouflage.
Right. So in scene V, a messenger comes running to Macbeth, terrified. He swears he saw the forest moving. I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
And Macbeth realizes...
He realizes he's been tricked. I came to be weary of the sun, and wish the state of the world were now undone. He sees the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. But he decides to go down fighting. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
The battle begins. Macbeth fights like a cornered animal.
Kills young Seward, the English general's son. And he's still clinging to that other prophecy, boasting, "Thou wast born of woman." But swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of woman born.
Until he meets Macduff. Scene 8/8. The final showdown.
Macduff hunts him down. Macbeth tries to avoid him initially. Get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. A flicker of something. Regret for the family.
Maybe. But he still boasts about his protection. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
And that's when Macduff delivers the final, devastating truth. The ultimate equivocation revealed. Despair thy charm. Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Ripped, you mean a cesarean section.
Exactly. Not born in the usual natural way. He was surgically removed, therefore technically not of woman born, according to the letter of the prophecy.
Macbeth finally gets it. The witches cheated him.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. He realizes the juggling fiends used double meanings, literal truths that sounded like guarantees, paltered with him.
He almost gives up then, refuses to fight.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be captured and displayed like a circus freak, the show and gaze of the time. But Macduff's taunts, calling him coward, tyrant, spurs him into one last futile fight.
Macduff kills him.
Off stage, but Macduff returns immediately, holding Macbeth's severed head.
Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head? A very graphic end to tyranny.
A clear symbol. Order is restored. Macduff hails Malcolm. Hail, King of Scotland.
And Malcolm takes charge.
Assumes the throne, promises rewards, making his thanes the first Earls of Scotland, a historical nod. Vows to call home the exiles who fled Macbeth's rule and deal with the remaining agents of the dead butcher and his fiend-like queen. The nightmare is over. The time is free.
Wow, what a journey. From valiant cousin and worthy gentleman to dead butcher, it's such a rapid, complete fall, driven by that ambition, nudged by the supernatural, and ultimately sealed by his own choices and that fatal self-deception.
It really is a masterclass in exploring how power corrupts, how suggestion can ignite buried desires, and how violence just breeds more violence until there's nothing left. The moment that second prophecy came true, Thane of Cawdor, the possibility of the crown became real, and the tragedy was almost inevitable.
Which does leave us, and you, the listener, with that big question, doesn't it? The nature of fate versus free will here. Was Macbeth always destined for this?
Or was it the witch's intervention that truly set him on the path? His vaulting ambition was definitely there, he admits it himself. But would it have been enough on its own without the prophecies giving it shape and, crucially, that early confirmation?
If they'd never spoken to him on that heath, could things have gone differently?
Or maybe Banquo had it right all along. That the instruments of darkness sometimes tell us small truths, honest trifles, just to lure us into the biggest betrayal, the deepest consequence. Was Macbeth doomed the moment he chose to believe them?
A lot to think about there. The power of suggestion, the weight of choice, and where responsibility ultimately lies. Hopefully, this deep dive into the source text gives you a clearer picture of how Shakespeare navigated those questions in this incredible tragedy.
Absolutely. It's a play that stays with you long after you finish it.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive into the Scottish tragedy. Thanks for joining us.